Hey everybody, welcome in. This is Julie Maxon, the main stamper. I am here live for my Thursday at 3 and we're going to do a quick and simple project today. So I'm going to turn this pretty designer paper. Look, this designer paper looks kind of almost, not the same colors, but kind of like that little hashtag of paint going on. I am also wearing designer paper today in my shirt. I just wanted to point that out. That's kind of fun. Anyway, I'm going to turn this designer paper and some cardstock into the cutest little mini basket. So this is my little mini basket. I'm trying to find the good light here. I know it gets a little crazy here in my craft room, but mini basket. And of course mine has chocolate. Right? Chocolate. And it's so easy. It's so simple. You don't need a fancy die. You don't even need punches. You could definitely do this up with just your trimmer, your paper trimmer, and paper. Really is all you need. You could do a little stamping if you want to. You could always get crazy and decorate, right? But I wanted to say, hi Jess, hi Carrie. So good to see you guys on here. This is just such a simple project. No dies, nothing fancy, just an easy peasy. So let's get over to my workspace. I had a poll on Positive Paper Crafters because I wanted to know what color card base should I use. So let me transition us over here, and I'm also going to try to catch hi Sandra, so good to see you here. I love it. I'm going to try to catch some comments as I can as I'm crafting today. So these were the three colors that we had that matched. This could have been easily any of these three colors, Freesia, Pool Party, and Coral. Now I'm using some lovely paper from Fancy Flora. I have chopped this all up. Oh my gosh, you guys, these are so cute. So here again, these cute little baskets, right? So I have one here in Fresh Freesia. This one is the newer Orchid Oasis, which is now going to be a year old already. So this is the little basket. If you're on my newsletter email list, you've got the PDF tutorial just like this that you can print, take notes on, what have you. I love that. Every Thursday I'm going to give you a great recipe and I'm going to come on live and demonstrate it so you can see it in action too. This is really the bones of what our little box looks like. And of course, once we decorate it all up, right, it's completely different. But I just wanted to share that with you, show you this is what we're going to make out of cardstock. Then we're going to decorate it with some designer series paper. Now this is nothing new. Criss-Cross mini basket. I did a little look on Pinterest because I was looking for something quick, easy, simple, for the Easter table. Nancy Morgan of Paper Smiles back in 2008. She has a great tutorial, a picture tutorial on Pinterest if you wanted to see every step of the way. Nancy did a fantastic job, and this is how 2008, right? It's kind of an older technique. So let's jump into it. I'm going to do this with you start to finish so you can see how easy this really is. Now, of course, I have a full 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock right here, and we just need to start with a 6 by 6. So I'm going to bring my trimmer down. Hopefully I'm in camera. Let me just peek real quick and see. I think I am good in the camera here. Yes, I think I'm good. Okay, so 6 by 6. If you have the Stampin' Up trimmer, it's really nice. It's got a hard stop here on the 6-inch line, which just makes it so easy, right? So I'm just going to do 6 by 6. We're starting with that for our base. And now we're going to score this all into 2-inch increments. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring this over and score it at 2 inches and then 4 inches. So we're basically giving every interval here that 2-inch score. So again, I'm going to rotate my paper and I'm going to score 2 inches and 4 inches. So what we just made is a grid with 9 squares. So if I were to fold this up, you would see 9 individual little squares, right? Kind of like a tic-tac-toe board, if you want to think of it that way. Now we do need to trim some of this off. So we're going to put our corners. So you got 4 corners. We're going to put each corner into the trimmer. And I'm basically going from, let me have a pencil maybe. I'm going to show you kind of where my little lines are right here. So these are the 2 lines here where the edge meets where I just scored it. And I'm going to line up each of these 2 edges in my paper trimmer so that the track has top and bottom, and I'm cutting. So I'm basically just cutting them in half. If I were to flip this over, this would be like in half. So I'm going to do that with all 4 of my corners. So again, I'm going to line up my score lines, which are probably hard to see, but I'm just going to go ahead and do this. And you can take your time at home if you're doing this. You don't have to rush, but we're just cutting these 4 corners off. We're going to make a stop sign, right? We're going to have that octagon, I believe is the correct shape here. It's been a while. I didn't really like geometry much in class. I didn't like math either, but so we have like a little stop sign here, right? This is what we've got now, a little stop sign. So next what we need to do is we're just going to bring out our paper snips and scissors, whatever you have at home that you want to use. We're going to cut 2 opposite flaps. Now it doesn't matter which 2 you cut because the shape is the same no matter what. So so just wherever you start, we're just cutting on this score line that we created, and we're cutting right up to the middle. So I'm creating a flap right here in the middle. So there's 1 flap there, and we're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to cut all the way up to the middle and then stop at the score line. So I've got these 2 flaps right here in the middle. And the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to bring my trimmer up a little bit because I want to cut at the bottom. We're going to cut each of these little flaps right here. We're going to cut this down. So this is a 2-inch flap. We only need about 3/4 of an inch. And this is where it gets a little tricky. You kind of have to manipulate and fold your paper a little bit here to get it in here. So I'm going to trim 1 1/4 inch off, and it doesn't sit super nicely here on the trimmer because it's so thick, but we're trimming some away. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you're leaving 3/4 of an inch, so you can see how much smaller this is than this side. Now we're going to do this guy over here. We're going to cut this one too. So we're cutting this, and this is for a reason. We don't want this flap to show when we do our crisscrossing. So we've just trimmed this guy up really nicely. See how he had a really good haircut right there, right? And if I can move my trimmer out of the way now. We're done with the trimmer. We're all done with that part. So if I hold this up like this, and you think of this as the base, and I fold these over, and I crisscross my edges, I've just made the box. So you can see the finished box that's glued together. And that's it. Other than decorating it, like how easy was that, right? A little trimming, a little scoring. Now we're going to do some taping. So I'm just going to hold this way. I'm going to put my flap down, and I'm going to put some tape. It doesn't even have to go all the way across right now. I'm going to put some tape on this little 3/4 inch flap that I have going on. And I'm going to fold over my first crisscross, and I'm going to do it so that it's kind of flat on my surface so that I can make sure that this edge just meets up nicely. And there's step 1. I'm going to do a repeat over here on this side. So fold my flap down a little bit, and you can put the tape on at the same time if you want to, however you like. So we're going to take this tape off of here. And these are so cute. I think they're really versatile too. I mean, you could use this. I always look at holiday time. I'm always looking for like cute little table decorations, place setting, who doesn't want candy at their place setting at Easter? Like, come on, right? So these aren't necessarily for kids. Now I put little daisies on mine. You could make yours Eastery. If you're doing them for fall, if you're doing them for Christmas, if you're doing them for Valentine's Day, change up your theme. These baskets are good for any season, really. Because, you could put little trinkets in there. That doesn't have to be candy. I'm just a chocolate person, and I love the candy. All right, so we have 2 sides done already. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to put some tape down here on each of these ends, and we're going to do, now what you don't want to do is you don't want to put tape all the way across, because you're going to see that this crisscross doesn't go all the way to the end. So I'm just going to do just enough here, because this is going to come across here and be hidden, right? So we're doing that, and we're going to have our box like completed, these little crisscross boxes. So cute. Now my twist on this crisscross box says I did some research on Pinterest. That's kind of where I go sometimes for good ideas, especially if I want to do like a 3D project. So you can see I just crisscross that side, and then I'm going to do this side. And there's a lot of these little boxes out there, but nobody decorated them with designer paper. And I was like, what? Like, some people stamped on them. That was nice, right? Stamping. So you could definitely stamp. If you're going to do that before you do this whole huge assembly project. But I was like, cardstock is pretty now, but I really love designer paper. So here's my little box in the Calypso Coral. Look at that. Just like that, right? And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to do our, we need to cut our little handle. So this is the handle that's going to go on. This one actually matches my Highland Heather one, right? So the handle would go in here. So we need an 8-inch handle, and it needs to be 1/2 inch. So this is my 8.5 inch paper. I'm just going to cut 1/2 inch off of here rather than measure out 8 inches. And then I'm going to cut the 1/2 inch here. And I'm not sure which side of my, we're going this way. So 1/2 inch here. So here's my handle, just like that, right? So I've got the right length there for my handle. And you're definitely going to want to, use your bone folder, use your fingers. You're going to want to make this a little bit, you want to break up the fibers, right, so that it bends nicely and it's just, you know, the perfect thing. Let's do our designer paper next. So it doesn't matter which designer paper you choose, right? Just use something fun and festive. I thought this looked really great for Easter. I tried to pick out some fun colors. So we're going to go with 1 3/4 inches, and yeah, I'm good there. 1 3/4 inches, and then I'm going to cut it at 1 3/4 again. I need 4 squares. So I'm just going to continue to create my little squares here. And I'm going to do this one here. And you can kind of play with the paper too to see like, what do you want? Which designs do you want? Maybe I want this one right here, because you can trim away. So I just trimmed away the gray. I love it as I think about my hair, right? I trimmed away the gray, so I don't want the gray necessarily. And again, there's more gray on this end. So I want the fun colors. So I'm just going to use my color selection kind of specifically, right? So these are the 4 patterns that I've got. Now I have to decide which ones I want to use on the front and the sides, because 2 of these we have to cut. I think I'm going to cut these 2. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put our 2 corners here in the middle of the track, and we're going to cut 2 of them into these little triangles. So we're going to cut these 2. And I'm going to do the same thing here, right in the middle of my track. And I kind of can hold the paper down just a little bit here. And so now I have my 2 triangles that are going to crisscross, just like my basket does. And the last thing I need is a piece for the handle, because I wanted to decorate the handle on both of these. You can see I have designer paper running up the entire length of the handle. Now I am going to use about 3/8 of an inch here. So just under, right, just under, looking at my lines here, the 1/2 inch, because my cardstock is a 1/2 inch. So you don't need a lot, right, but you need a little bit. Now 8 inches would be ideal, right, because we cut this at 8 inches. So this is technically short because this is 6 by 6 paper. But I actually did the workaround and I covered up where it's short. I covered it up, and I'm going to show you that as we assemble now. So we're going to finish our final assembly here. Let me move some things off and make sure my little crisscrosses stay together. My little crisscrosses stay together. So this is really quick and easy project, and I hope that you're going to, love this and want to try it out too. So we're going to do our gluing here real quick. And there's two things that you could do as you put this together. We're using this one, of course, right? I could have already put the designer paper on before I crisscrossed it, because when I do this, it's going to give me this look right here. And if you prefer to have the crisscross, so like a piece of the Calypso Coral cardstock coming down, you could do that. You could do that before you assembled it. But I kind of just, I did it this way. And as I was doing it and putting it together, I was like, oh, I could have. So in theory, once you get this on here, the other one would look like it's tucked under, and you'd have you'd see more of the crisscrossing effect there. But then again, once you put something on it too, you don't really see it. So it's really 1/2 dozen the other. It's what you prefer. So I'm just going to go ahead and add these on here. And when I put them on, I am definitely focusing on lining up the bottom to make sure that that's straight across. And that's beautiful, right? And then we're going to do the sides. And I just like this little addition of the designer paper. I think it adds a lot to the basket. Now with the glue, it does wiggle around a little bit. And I noticed that I do want to keep if I'm trying to keep them all kind of flush this way, this actually comes down a little bit farther than it is up, which was interesting to me because I felt like we had a really good matted type layer. So definitely just kind of keep an eye on how all your cardstock is laying there, and I'm going to just manipulate this way, and we're going to put this one on here. Make sure they're lining up nicely. I mean, it's really that simple, right? So you can see the addition of the designer paper, it just makes it so much prettier, I think. And you could go all out. You could decorate all of these sides. You could actually, this would be kind of fun, you know, you could stamp something and put something on each side so that every time you turn it, you're stamped, maybe you're seeing a different stamped image. That would be really cute too. There's just so many options in creativity, and I just love it. I love that I put one together and then think, oh, I could do this and I could do that, and change it all up. So I hope that you're thinking the same thing as you're watching this, and you're thinking, I could do this and I could do that. Now, if you're using 6x6 paper, I'm going to recommend you try to center this on your 8-inch cardstock as much as possible, right? Because we're going to tuck these in here. So I'm going to go ahead and put glue on the outside here. And this is going to just meet up on the inside of my box, and it will go snug to the bottom. And you want to kind of make it in the middle of this crisscross. Just going to hold that for a second. Hopefully it'll stay. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. Now, of course, if you're doing it at home and you're using glue, you can take a little time, right, to hold that down and make sure it's in the right spot. You can use tear and tape too. I just feel like glue is a little bit more forgiving. So now you're going to see that there's that little gap there where my 6-inch paper doesn't quite tuck in to the basket, right? That side did pretty good, but this side didn't tuck in. So that's where these awesome little punched images, you know, come into play. Now this daisy punch is it's in the clearance. It's in the last chance clearance. It was this morning, I should say. I'm not sure. Things are flying off that last chance clearance. I tell you what, this daisy punch, I love these punches, and I'm always like, maybe I should get another one and have a spare, because I'd be really sad if this one broke. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do 4 daisies. This was on sale for $10.80. That's a really great deal. I mean, I love my daisy punch. Now, in the new catalog that's coming out, you may have seen other demonstrators are showing you pre-orders that are coming in. They have catalogs already. There is a new daisy set, and I'm really excited about it, but it has dies. So this is just nice to have the punch. Now, I like to do 2 together and make a little daisy sandwich here. And something else that I like to do is I like to just grab my ink pad, and I don't know if you can tell on here, but the edges of this, my daisies on here, they're dipped in ink, so it's not so noticeable. But I take my little daisy, and I'm just going to run it in here and just kind of wheel it across a little bit. And you can do it a little bit more of an angle if you want to try to catch more of it. I don't know if that's going to show up or not, but it's got that little bit of orange or color around the edges, and I just think it adds so much without having to get out the sponge dauber or a blender brush, right? Just enough to like add that in there. This daisy shifted a little bit, but he's okay, because not all daisies have to be perfect, right? That's good. Now I do have a retired, this is a very old punch. I have a retired punch circle, and I found that this is a great size for my little daisy centers. So I like to just add those on here, just like this. Little extra glue. We'll get these little centers on here, and then we're going to compare all of the baskets. These guys are just so sweet though. All right, so then we're going to cover up where this little designer paper just didn't quite make the mark, right? And I'm going to put this guy here. He's not the perfect daisy, but he's probably more realistic. So let's see if he'll stay there. Now, if you have circle punches, you could do a couple of circle punches, do kind of like a layering effect. You could stamp you could stamp Happy Easter. You could do Mother's Day. You could do Valentine's Day. I mean, whatever your occasion is, right? You could do a little stamping on here. You could add ribbon and maybe a little tag. But here's our little basket. Let's dump and see how much candy I could fit into one, right? So there's a good chunk of chocolate right there. And here's the rest. I'm going to eat that later. Don't you worry, you guys. I'm going to take care of that chocolate, no problem. But here's my little basket. So I have Fresh Freesia. I have the Orchid Oasis. I always have to look to see. And then I have my Calypso Coral. And they all have that really same fun little pattern of paper. You know, this all came from the same paper pack, but they are all different designs from the same paper pack. So that's a lot of fun too. So that's a look at the little mini, isn't that adorable? That little mini basket. Oh my gosh. I just love that basket so much. I also love chocolate a lot. So I'm really excited that I have chocolate. Okay. Oh, thanks, Jess, for answering that Stampin' Up. Take your pick tool. You guys, the pick tool. The pick tool is awesome because you can unscrew kind of and turn around. There's different things that fit in the pick tool. And there is in the new catalog, new tools to fit in your pick tool. I am so excited about it. There's even more. It's like the the Boy Scout knife or what are those things? They're like the jackknife, right? Where you have like 50 tools in one. This take your pick tool is really awesome. Now, of course, you have to buy each package a little bit differently, but I love the take your pick tool. I use it all the time. So thanks, Jess, for answering. Kathy, I'm glad that you loved that. That's so cool. Good, good. I'm just checking out the hi Rhonda, hi Regina from Germany. It's so nice to see you guys on here. That is so awesome. Okay, so that is my quick Thursday at 3. I'm glad that you guys enjoyed these little baskets. I hope that you find you can use this somewhere, sometime, you know, with an event. They'd be really great for like bridal showers, baby showers. I mean, just think, right? If you have upcoming wedding and someone's looking for something kind of quick and easy, you could definitely it's paper and scoring and glue. It's so simple. So that is what I love about Thursday at 3. We make it fast, quick and easy. And thank you guys for hanging out with me. They are darling. I love them. All right, so enjoy that. Make sure you're checking out the last chance sale for all those great deals. I have my mystery grab bags up. If you're using my host code this week, you're going to get a mystery grab bag from me. If you have questions, I have answers. So thanks for joining me for the mini basket tutorial class, and I will see you guys again soon. Everyone, if I don't see you online before, have a really wonderful Easter. Take care, everybody. Bye.